Hello, everybody. This is the American Micro Podcast. Once again, it is August 21st. It is a Monday, as usual. We have a new guest with us, just kind of somebody stopping by. I kind of like those old days when we used to watch Mr. Rogers and the mailman would pop by. Well, we've got Vic here today. He's a friend of mine.
Hi guys.
Yeah, we're both in Oklahoma City today. And then we've got Rodney. Rodney, where you at and how's it going?
I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm being as careful as I can. Uh, Kind of wild, kind of crazy city, um, but it's Baltimore, man. It's Baltimore. It's like it is what it is. Crazy. I was downtown today getting stuff done, and yeah, you forget it's a beautiful city, man. It's a beautiful city, but like any other city, somehow it gets a bad rap, but it is what it is. But nonetheless, we are talking all things Trump here today.
Yes, we
So
are.
yes, let's move into this. So here's the deal. He is going to jail. I mean, he is. I don't know. He right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a deep dive into Trump's um, impeachments or just the scenarios that got him to the place he's at right now. So, of course, the sequence of events leading up to the two impeachment proceedings against the former president, the orange taint, I mean Donald Trump, as well as the events surrounding. Did I say that January 6th? The January 6th attack on the United States Capitol, which some people thought was like a tourist, like they were just tourists going through, and there was nothing wrong with it. It was completely okay to do that. No, it wasn't. So first thing that happened was Donald Trump was impeached. This occurred December 2019, and the House of Representatives, which was controlled by the Democratic Party at the time, impeached Trump on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The impeachment centered around a phone call Trump had with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, in which he had allegedly pressured Zelensky into investigating Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden, and withholding. What he withheld military aid from Ukraine as leverage. Nice guy, nice guy. So of course, the House voted along party lines with no Republicans supporting the impeachment articles, and Trump was impeached in the House December 18th, 2019, becoming the third president in the United States to be impeached. So that's relatively historical, right? And so they had the Senate trial, and he was acquitted. And this was in the Senate trial took place in January and February of 2020. And despite some calls for witnesses and further evidence, the Republican-controlled Senate voted to acquit Donald Trump on charges February 5th, 2020. And the events leading to the second impeachment of Donald Trump revolved around the events of January 6, 2021. Now, I mean, what were you thinking, Donald? What were you thinking? Like, you really thought that you were going to overturn this election, and that Pence was just going to not carry on with his duty to clarify the vote. But a lot of bad stuff happened. So there was a joint session of Congress that convened to certify the Electoral College results of 2020 of the election, the presidential election, confirming the victory of Joe Biden. However, Trump and many of his supporters refused to accept the election results, claiming widespread voter fraud without substantial evidence. And he held a rally, and he encouraged his supporters to march on the Capitol and fight like hell, man. You know, dude, these dudes really Confederate flags, people wiping feces on the walls when they got in, you know, um, people dying, officers dying.
Oh, they just
He was impeached again.
they just ruled that
What's that?
suicide. They just ruled that cop committing suicide was an act of
Yeah.
duty, like it's related to his active duty. So it's job related,
What?
and so that counts as a January 6th death now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, the bottom line here, guys, is that I mean, there's a lot of stuff, bro. There's so much information on this. In conclusion, okay, or I should say in summary, while the claims of a rigged election gained significant attention and generated heated debates, the available evidence, investigations, and court rulings overwhelmingly supported the legitimacy of the 2020 presidential election. So, of course, Biden won that election. And it's important to rely on credible sources of information, independent fact checking, and official statements from election officials. Allegations of widespread fraud were not substantiated, and the democratic process and checks and balances played a crucial role in upholding the integrity of the election results. So, and just to let you know, 60 judges rebuked the allegations of because, you know, Trump, like, he sent it all over the place. He wanted so, yeah, 60 judges said nope, didn't happen. So there you have it. And now he is, how many indictments, Pago?
Well, like four,
So far.
but those come with like many different charges. So I think.
Well, that's what I mean. How many charges? I think it's what, 78?
91 charges?
Yeah, we're up to almost 100.
91?
Now.
Good grief, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then there's
so that's
from Arizona too. Arizona's bringing in some soon.
So what do you guys think about this?
Vic?
Man, I just feel like this was the election with the largest turnout on either side, you know, and to like cast a doubt or aspersions on that. That was just because you lost an election, you could not provide any shred of evidence. I just feel that is such gross misconduct. Like someone, you know, should be held accountable for eroding trust in your elections.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's kind of poetic justice. I know there's like RICO charges don't necessarily have to, because they amended that law. RICO charges don't have to be a legit mafia boss. The way the legal definition is, it could be like a business or a person or an organized, crime, or a non-organized like crime family or whatever. It's very loose and broad on purpose. But I just think it's poetic justice that he's getting the kind of the classic old school mafia laws, the laws meant to go after mafia people because they're so slick and shady, because it's exactly what Trump behaves like. I think it's pretty clear that he like gets off on pretending to be or legitimately being a mob boss. Like, Rudy Giuliani was famous for fighting the Italian mob in New York?
Yeah. Yeah,
basically
in the late 70s and the early 80s. Yeah.
But basically what Rudy Giuliani did was he pushed out one mob to then invite the Russian mob in. And the Russians like seem to be really connected with Trump, but it's like a very tenable, it's very hard to, like, what is that? Like, is extricate the right word? To get the evidence, the proof, he's connected to the Russians at all, that they're not just doing favors for him because it messes up the country and that, they enjoy that and it makes more sense for them geopolitically to make us in chaos. But the fact that like he's always enjoyed being this mob boss. Sorry, our dog Echo. We should have 3 names here: Pego and Vic and Echo. But like he's enjoyed being a mob boss for so long. it only seems proper that there's a little bit of justice in this world where we prosecute them like a mob boss. You want to act like a mob boss? We're going to treat you like a mob boss. And so I like
Well,
that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, so we've got New York, right? We've got New York, Georgia, Florida, and soon Arizona.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so I was watching CNN a couple nights ago, and Georgia had its share because now remember there were fake legislators in Michigan.
In Michigan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there are fake legislators in Georgia as well.
In Georgia.
And they've all been indicted in Georgia.
You mean the electors, right? Fake electors.
Yeah, the electors. That's what I meant. Did I say legislators? I mean electors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I mean, think about that, man. What would drive you to do something like that? And then hold on. You send out correspondence to your quote unquote people to let them know, hey, don't tell anyone about this. We don't want anyone to know. And then you get in front of a camera and, as one of these fake electors and say, well, we were just doing our due diligence. Our lawyer said blah, blah, blah. No, dude, you knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
You knew it was wrong. You knew you were in a bad, maybe you didn't know you were in a bad place, but now you're in a bad place.
Yeah, I don't think that these people understood how serious their crimes were that they were committing. I think that they thought, like, because this is the president, they're going to be untouchable for some reason. Like the power rubs off on them magically and protects them or something. But no, it's serious, and we see that now. So,
well, I mean, at the end of the day, does he go to jail? I'm not a lawyer. Does he go to jail? I mean,
Vic and I were looking at that. What we read, what we discovered, just through also, like, these are journalists, so they're also just trusting experts to have the right opinion. It said, the articles that we found said that the judge has a little bit of leniency in how he can hand down whether Trump goes to prison or not. There's a mandatory 5 years on that one charge, the first charge, which, by the way, has an $80,000 bond behind it. And then there's like successive $10,000 ones for all the charges, which adds up to $200,000 bond, which was just, what do you call that, put in place today?
Yep.
I forgot about Washington, D.C. as well. That judge is not going to play with him.
So the judge in Georgia has leniency about whether he can say, you know what, this Mr. Trump dude, never heard of him, never met him, seems like a nice guy. Let's go ahead and put him on probation for 5 years. He can be on probation for 5 years, but it's not a guaranteed that he will get probation because he's famous or whatever. But what is working in his favor, we found this out today too, or it was kind of came to our attention, that previous RICO cases there in Fulton were typically, there was some violent crime involved in them. There was no violent crime with the charges as they relate to Fulton and Trump. So this is basically a white collar crime, and that means he might luck out and get a non-violent crime type of sentencing.
Well, but he's got Florida, he's got DC, he's got New York.
Yeah, I don't think New York is looked favorably by legal scholars as having a good solid basis.
But Florida does, and that guy, what's his name, Jack Smith?
Yeah,
he's not good. Yeah, it's
special counsel.
Yeah, this isn't. I mean, what does this come down to? So I think it comes down to, okay, we've got this man. He's a liar, a misogynist, a racist, a con artist, a wannabe mob boss. He duped an entire base of people that are Americans in this country into voting for him. Okay, now it's a cult of personality, right? Now these people are like, This is what they're saying. I don't care if he's in jail. If Donald Trump goes to jail, would you still vote for him? Yes. Are you serious?
Yeah. The latest poll that I saw said the Republicans, we're talking about the larger Republican base, not just the MAGA people. The larger Republican base said that if he is federally convicted, 50% of them would no longer vote for him. But that's not MAGA. That's like everybody who identifies
MAGA's
as like
small though, dude. Yeah, that's MAGA's 30% of the base.
Yeah.
Because you've got Gen Z out there, you've got the millennials, and I believe it or not, I talk to a lot of these people on TikTok just about every day. I'm in their lives, and they're not voting for Trump, dude.
Right.
You know, there's a special kind of, I don't know. It's just, I guess, you know, when I look at like, no one ever thought that whole Richard Nixon thing would ever happen again. Although Clinton got impeached as well. Okay. Yeah. I did not have consensual sex with that woman. Yes, you did, dude. Yes, you did. That's why you got impeached.
You know, if Clinton would have just pulled a Trump and just been brazen about it, he's like, yeah, I had fun in DC. I had fun in the White House. Yeah, I loved it. It was great. I loved it. It was great. He would have been fine.
And now I'm on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. What?
Right?
yeah, dude. I mean,
who wasn't though? Apparently, everybody was on that damn plane.
Everyone was, dude. You can't make this stuff up, dude. This is like, you could totally make a sitcom out of this. Out of the last 25. Wait, see, the last 70, 80, 90. 2000 to the last 50 years of American politics, you could totally make a sitcom out of it, because it's just it's like it's brazen and like over the top. Like, you voted for a guy who outwardly said he just totally essayed women. He sexually assaulted women. Like, it came out of his mouth. Yeah, you know what I mean? Everyone heard it. And you still voted for him. And then he loses a civil case a second time. He gets, hold on. Isn't one of the charges with the porn star, isn't it?
That is the federal court indictment, which is about the hush money. So that's about misappropriating those funds, which he actually paid for the hush money.
Yeah, which his lawyer went to jail for.
The E. Jean Carroll is a civil suit, and
which she won.
She won that, and then
she won. Yeah.
How did this go? He did something. I think he
countersued for defamation.
That's what it was,
because she called him a rapist, and then the judge sided with her because she won the case.
Yeah, and then the judge clarified in those documents, if Trump hadn't countersued, the judge wouldn't have clarified in these secondary rulings or whatever that he says, I want to be clear, Trump is a rapist. That the judge said that in the filings, so he is now legally, defined as a rapist by the judge.
I mean, how do you make this stuff up, dude? Like, how do you make it up? I mean, if it were either one of us, we'd be in jail right now.
Yeah.
We'd be so far underneath the jail, dude. It would bro, and that's a thing, people talk about inflation. They talk about what he did as a president and how much he helped the country. He really didn't do that. He didn't finish the wall. He did a terrible job. I'm sorry. He didn't, dude. He built 13 miles of it or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was awful, I mean, and then he was just like, from trying to nuke a hurricane. Did you hear about that one? He's like, yeah. So let's put a nuclear bomb inside the hurricane, and it blows up the hurricane. And I mean, this is the guy and I'm just coming up with stuff that I know, that I've heard him say.
Yeah.
The guy has lied. I mean, Donald, you had to see this coming somewhere. You had to see yourself in this position at some point in your life. You had to see this. And dude, how would you like to be Melania Trump? Or how would you like to be his son, his youngest 15, 16-year-old? How do you look at your kid, man?
Oh.
Yeah. I don't feel sorry for Melania. I've heard that she's an awful person as well, and
That's what I heard.
She seems like she's right on brand for his kind of, to be his wife,
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I did an internship for a guy, actually a state senator, my sophomore year in college. And yeah, politics, because I mean, that's what I went to school for, political science. And politicians suck, dude. They're not nice people, man. Like, I would just go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm also from a political background, not my education, but in my life. I think I've told our listeners, hi listeners, that I grew up as the son of the assistant mayor of Oklahoma City. Whenever the Murrah bombing happened, he was assistant mayor for a lot longer than that. Before then, my parents worked for Mickey Edwards congressman, so I literally was like running around the congressman's office, like licking envelopes and eating the candy out of the candy dishes and stuff. And now Rick, my stepdad, but he raised me, he's my dad, is a lobbyist, and so which is arguably worse than a politician.
Oh God, yes, dude.
I've been around politics my entire life, so I can agree. Many terrible people in politics, many.
Yeah, and you try not to, like, I don't know, rub this in the faces of people who voted for Trump. Like, there's this guy that we were like, there was this one MAGA guy that we were talking to on this panel, on this live on TikTok, and he was just like, we were throwing everything he'd ever done at, and we were like, dude, do you understand he did this, right? And the guy was like, yeah, well, so what? We're like, wait a minute, what? And he did I'm talking to 2 hours of this, dude. And the guy was like, well, so what? Well, he did. And because if you guys just don't understand, it was like, what is it that we don't understand? These people, I mean, MAGA cult, right? Or am I wrong? Are there people out there? Yeah?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. And now what happens? He gets indicted. Okay, he gets indicted. He's indicted. He goes to trial. What they're saying is they're going to get him on something. Dude, you've got almost 100 charges. They're going to get you on something, bro. And you're going to do some time, dude. You're going to wear an ankle bracelet. You're going to do something. You know what I mean?
Like let me make a call. I'm going to point out my shot, like Babe Ruth, right? I'm pointing. What's going to happen? He's going to get some of these charges dropped or found innocent, and they're gonna just repeat over and over and over. Look, Trump was found innocent. Look, Trump was found innocent. Even when he gets the guilty charges on other things, because that's how that works, right? Like you win some cases, you lose some cases. That's the way the legal system works. They're gonna just parrot over and over and over. Look, he was found innocent. We told you. Look, we told you he was innocent. Even getting the guilty charges, they're going to ignore those. They're going to ignore those and be like, look, he was innocent. Look, I promise you that's what's going to happen.
And then you're going to say, but why is he in jail, dude? Why is he, what? I don't get it. Well, so here's the thing. How violent does it get? What happens, like, if they really, like throw the book at him, which they could possibly do. I mean, like, Is it World War II in the United States? Is it a second Civil War? I mean, what is it? Like,
Well,
should
I
I
don't know.
not draw?
I I it I, I think that if somebody DeSantis tried to become the replacement. I think if somebody pops up all of a sudden that they can latch on to, they might take control of the Colts, and the Colt might allow that to happen. I think that Republicans are known in the past for just dropping you like a hotcake suddenly once you're no longer useful. But you're right, he is a cult leader, and as long as there's not another leader to take over that cult, he'll remain in charge of that cult. So I don't know. I kind of hope somebody else shows up so that he just gets, while he's still alive, gets like discarded and tossed and has to suffer that damage to his narcissism. He's a narcissist. That's gonna hurt him more than anything.
He's a lot of things, dude. He's a psychopath. He's a sociopath.
He's a narcissist. Yeah.
He's a narcissist. He's unavailable emotionally. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at everything he's done with the kids, I think it's the kids that he tried to put in jail. Took out a full page ad on these kids who were found guilty of
Something Part 5.
Yeah. And
Central
Park 5, and then he took out a full page ad. He was a slumlord.
And they were found innocent now, right?
Yeah. They were all found innocent, and he's a draft dodger. Old bone spurs. He literally got out of the draft 5 times, I think it was. And he's man, especially for someone like myself who was in the Marine Corps and the National Guard combined like 9 years, and I come from a military family, and he totally disrespects Gold Star families, military families, and now he's at this point in his life where he looks like a leather bag, and he's still trying to take out his wrath on people when it's almost over, Donald. Like, it's almost over. Like, where do you go? Where does he go from here? Let's just say, I mean, how do you there's no way he wins this election.
So what do you think it would take for his base to abandon him?
I don't think I think I literally okay. So the guy, I forgot the guy's name in the Oklahoma bombing.
Timothy McVeigh.
He was in the Army. Timothy McVeigh. He was in the Army. He was an Army, and you've got a lot of yahoos out there. Well, yeah, yahoos. Got a lot of people out there who are former military who love Trump, dude. They love him. And they are like, they're forming their little militias, and there's a lone wolf mentality with these guys.
So the conservatives, they love the military. This guy clearly dodged it several times. Went, tried to go after John McCain, and they still love them. A lot of conservatives, they say that they're extremely religious. This guy's clearly not, and they still love him. He is a rapist, proven by court.
Right.
And then, we had that tape where he was talking about women and how he would treat them.
Yeah.
And they still loved him. So, those are the conservative values. And so none of these things mattered. So I'm just wondering, like, what would it take? Like, what would it take for them to abandon him?
I don't think it's going to look. I mean, honestly, what this comes down to. Okay, so let's really break this down. Okay. So you have states like Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas, where, believe it or not, you can marry a girl who's 13, 14, 15 years old. I don't know what the statutes are in every state, but yeah, you can do that. This is all about a certain white patriarchal nationalist society losing their ability to rule as the select few. And that's what this comes down to. These people, these Christian, the Christian right doesn't care. All they know is that he will make sure that their values, or just their mindset and their way of life, is that it still has structure, that it still means something, that it's still meaningful. Like, who in God's name thinks that make America great again means something for the three of us?
Right.
It really doesn't, And I'm inclined to believe that, and it's crazy, dude, because Obama got elected twice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, you know what I'm saying? And
But
then
he followed that up with Trump.
Yeah.
yes. And how does that work? Like, what does that mean? That there are people out there that are like, wait a minute. I mean, and I'm sure this is what happened. Like, well, okay, hold on. Think about it like this: 2008, you had a recession, right? After that recession, or during that recession, because that recession lasted from like it lasted a good 8 years. Like, people were hurt. I know I was. Okay,
Yeah.
and so, by the time we were getting out of it, okay, by about, I think it was just before Trump became president, like 2016, Obama was like, I'm going to put on this tan suit and see what happens. And and he walks down the plane, and people just lost their minds with that stuff. I mean, and this is what, and you gotta realize too, there was the Dylan Roof shooting at the AME church, where he shot, Dylan Roof was a white supremacist. He shot 8 African Americans at the at the church in South Carolina during Obama's presidency. And all of this stuff was going on, and people literally hated Obama, but he got elected twice. So that gave someone like Trump, who knows the media, who knows how to put people in he knows what to say to the people who just have no idea what reality is when it comes to their own interests, right? So they're going to vote against their own interests with this guy, no matter what. But he's their savior. You know what I mean? So, end of the day, I mean, he wins, and all of the racists that are out there get to crawl from underneath a rock and feel the sun on their body, man. And it feels so good, and they get emboldened, and they're just like, and they have been going off ever since. Even he's not even the president, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where in Tennessee, there was one of the state senators who wanted to bring back hanging as a penalty for murder. So yeah, I mean, that's where we are. So in Arkansas, just a couple weeks ago, they're trying to get rid of African American studies. They're doing it in Florida. Well, DeSantis. That's all I need to say. Yeah, it's that's what Trump has brought to the table. That's what he's brought to the table. They're good people on both sides.
Oh, yeah, Charleston.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, you can just go on. Jews will not replace us.
Yeah.
That's what. So now he's, the karma that he's rolled into, and the people that vote for him are going to be at some point, it's either they will be or their lineage, if they're raising the same kind of people with the same type of mindset, they're going to be left behind. You're going to have a lot of very, as Donald Trump says, I love the uneducated. So you're going to have a lot of people. Oh, dude, it just blows my. Palestine, is it Palestine or Palestine? Palestine, Indiana, where the train's derailed and Trump goes out there and he's like, I will save you. And they're like, oh, Trump is here. And you're just like, no, man, he ain't saving you, bro. He ain't saving you. This isn't going to work. It's not going to happen. I'll stop.
No, you're right.
It's just, but that's what's going on. Trust me. I looked at all this stuff, bro. It's just like, you can't like, I might be poor and I might be white, but at least I'm not an N-word. I'm like, what?
So do you think that it is him that they love so much? Or do you
because
it's become a symbol for being, against the system, against the establishment, and he's just a symbol for it?
There are a lot of white men and women out there, and Latinos, and some African Americans out there who are voting for Trump. And the reason they're voting for him is because they have this pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. And, one day when they hear at their door and they open up the door and someone says, hey, Jose, come with us. And Jose's like, what? Yeah, hop in the van, man. Get in the van. Hey, who are you guys? What? And he gets in the van and there's 10 other people. They're like, dude, what's going on? I don't know. Yeah, they're going to, one day, if you don't stand up for yourself, look, man, the reason we got to be who we are and the reason we went through I don't know if you know this, Vic, but I was born in 59, right? So I grew up in the 60s. So I went through all that stuff, like colored bathrooms, colored water fountains, just some of the most ridiculous racism. Like it was like cooked to it was off the hook. It was like this racism was so, and you can't believe it unless you were there. Like, so you're talking about JFK, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy, Kent State, Black Panthers, all being erased. Like erased, okay? But what did it do? It made it, when we as people of color try our best to make sure that we have a fighting chance, someone like Donald Trump comes along, dude, and just moves. Come on, man. What? The Supreme Court is going to leave abortion up to the states?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, like a 13, I forgot where it was, but a 13-year-old just had a baby.
Oh.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that's where we are. That's where we are.
What was the doctrine that we did away with? Not we, like I had any participation in it. In the 90s, I think it was the truth doctrine or whatever, where you had to be like reporting accurate information as, a news media outlet. And then we did away with that. And that was like basically a guaranteed win for anybody who enjoys plausible deniability and lies and stuff. And what system relies most heavily on plausible deniability? It's white supremacy. It's racism. They do the wink and the nudge. I mean, MAGA is a direct ripoff of old Nazi slogan, like Germany first, whatever, like make Germany great again and stuff like that. That's a bullhorn. I know we're tired of saying it, but like, it's not a dog whistle. It's a bullhorn. Like everything is, because they've become so emboldened. But what allows that to happen is that now you can have like 30 channels blasting at you, telling you the Democrats are lying and that the news stories they're reporting on MSNBC are fake and false. When if we had some sort of truth in news doctrine again, they wouldn't be able to do that. They'd get wiped out of existence through lawsuits and stuff. We really need to refocus on getting something changed back to that kind of.
Didn't Fox just lose like a big battle and they had to like?
It was like 900 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Jesus. Can you imagine that, dude? $900 million because you lied about everything, and then you told everyone that you lied. Like they told everyone that they lied. Like, yeah, we lied. Yeah, we lied. We lied to all of.
Tucker Carlson fired for that.
Yeah. Cognitive dissonance, man. When people just don't have the ability to think about what's right in front of them.
Yeah.
Like it just what they see is something completely different than the reality of the situation. I mean, I've heard people on these lives. Like I was on this live today, and these people were like, you don't even want to get into it. It's just when I hear these MAGA people talk, it's like you can't be like, how are you serious? This guy has been charged almost 100 times.
Yeah.
He's been charged 100 times, and I could go out into the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone, and I'd probably get off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right with the word cognitive dissonance. I think that we're going to see some of the crazier ones have issues when he loses. I hope he's going to lose. When he loses this election, I think you're going to see another response like January 6th, but it'll be less directed. You know what I mean? There'll be little pockets of stuff that pop up here and there. I mean, he's been stoking that. It's stochastic terrorism, right? Where he's telling everybody to like fight and all that good stuff. But I think that the cognitive dissonance of like having another loss, like two in a row.
Dude, some of these people are going to be twisted, bro.
They're going to say it's rigged, it's fixed, and I mean they're going to freak the heck out.
They're going to go crazy. Not just freak out. They're going to lose their minds.
They already are. Not yesterday, but a couple days ago, I was out at a bar in Moore, Oklahoma, with my boss and a bunch of people they know from the bar. And Moore, Oklahoma is really conservative, really, really red. And two of the people sitting there at our table, we spoke, for like a good hour or two about like I grew up there and played football, and like he was talking like one of the main guys who was kind of all of a sudden flipped a switch all of a sudden. We were talking about his kid and his kid playing football, and everything was really cool because we're like down home country boys, sitting around the table having some beers. And out of nowhere, he just starts rattling off to the guy across the table in front of him. He's like, "But man, all this stuff's like messed up, and when it comes down to it, like we're gonna be the ones, that have all the guns, and the people who are causing all these problems are gonna be sorry," and blah blah blah. Just out of nowhere.
Oh my God.
Like we're talking about football and like growing up in a small town and blah blah blah, good old down home stuff, and all of a sudden it just turns into this threat, like threats of violence, like it's more like daydreaming. They were sitting there both like having the same violent daydream together.
There's the cognitive dissonance right there, dude.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is right there. When, and that's another thing. Like these guys think that, people on the left don't own weapons. They're going to be sorely mistaken, dude. Yeah, they're gonna, if that's, and not only that, dude. I mean, come on. Do you think the United States government is going to let a bunch of yahoos or a bunch of dudes running around in the woods on the weekends, like with their So my name's Brad. I'm in the Air Force. I'm sitting in this like control room in Nevada with a joystick that controls a drone. Are you kidding me? Dude, just these guys don't even understand. They don't get it. Like, we're going to take over the government. You ain't taking over anything, bro.
Yeah, we've already seen the United States government will prosecute you if you if you decide to go.
Come on. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
You're going to jail. You'll never see your kids again. You'll probably have a boyfriend. You know what I mean? It's going to be over. You know what I mean? It's going to be over for you. You know, ask the guys who tried to kidnap the governor of Michigan. Ask them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. There's so many. These people are nuts. They're nuts, man. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, nine times out of 10, we've already seen like these little groups, the homegrown terror cells. You know, call them what they are 9 times out of 10, they're already infiltrated by the FBI. There's somebody sitting
big time, dude.
Yeah, I mean they're already like those charges are basically being written up. He's just like, go ahead, keep talking. I'm gonna go go to that.
Dude, yeah, it's that it's so yeah, so you know, I don't know if you guys ever saw that Spike Lee movie where the guy was a black guy who infiltrated the KKK just by talking on the phone.
I did.
Like so I could be that guy. Like, hey, Bill, what's going on, man? How are you? You know, like, you don't know who you're talking to, dude.
Yeah.
You have no idea. I've showed up at jobs that are like, you're black, bro? I'm like, yeah, bro, what's up? You know, they're like, you know, you don't know who you're talking to. You have no idea. End of the day, someone like Donald Trump, it's not the end of the day because there's going to be someone else 20, 30 years from now, just like him, if not sooner. Or maybe not. We'll never know. But anyways, yeah, end of the day for Donald Trump with these charges and these indictments and these charges. From what a lot of his like inner circle and like guys like Chris Christie who really know him, they're like, people are like, from what people are saying, he's like terrified.
Yeah, I've heard the same. I mean, not like we have personal sources, but like every little insight I've heard from that is that he's like shitting bricks. He's stressed out.
Like even I think Barr has kind of like seems to be, you know, talking poorly about him now. Yeah.
Well, everyone's just gonna dump on him, dude. I mean, I think people. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Bill Barr legitimately said this a few days ago that the case against him looks airtight and that this is, you know, legit and worrisome for Trump. It should be worrisome.
Well, I think he said he shouldn't be allowed near the White House.
I'm crazy to hear that, Bill Barr.
Well, Bill Barr knew him. I mean, look, Bill Barr had to toe the line. You know, when you're hired in that position, you got to say all kinds of crazy stuff, right? But
boy, did he ever toe the line.
Yeah, did he? Did he? Dude, the guy was like, hey, Bill, 1 + 1 = 2. Well, I don't really. Well, hold on. Can you? Better yet, Bill, does 1 + 1 = 2? Well, it depends on how you. Can you ask that question like another? Hold on. Can you rephrase that question? Like, really? That's what he did. Like, literally, that's how his interviews went every single time.
Yeah.
Bill Barr. Like I remember watching, like, is this guy for real? Does he really mean what he's saying? Like, this, and he'd have his glasses on with that face of his, and his face would start contorting, and, you know, just like, dude, who was his first? Was the guy from Tennessee with the gray hair? I can't remember his name.
Are you talking about got tackled? No.
No. I can't remember his name. But he fired a lot of people, dude. And yeah, you know, he was in cahoots with the Russians, man. He knew what he was doing. They had Russian bots all over the place. I mean, come on. 4 years of Donald Trump was probably, in dog years, I don't know. It was bad. It was like really, really, really bad. You know,
I mean,
like I've
I basically have
Extremely chaotic.
yeah, I have like basically like have I think we all do have PTSD from like waking up in the middle of the night and having to look at our phones and be like, what the f did he say now? You know, or your phone would start blowing up, and you
dude,
know,
every day,
yeah,
I think one of the first
every day, dude.
ban, you know, that the travel ban that he imposed, and that got denied by the Supreme Court. Then he was able to get that back in some like a smaller fashion. I mean, it just kept going on, and then the deep leaks, you know, deep state leaks, and it
And the
was
S-hole countries.
so chaotic. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've you know, I've met some really bad people in my life when I was in the Marine Corps, um, from all over the world. You know, I've met some really bad people, like really bad people, like people you just don't even want to mess with or be around. And I believe Donald Trump is one of those people. Like Donald Trump is a really bad person. He means he doesn't. He cares about no one but himself. He doesn't care about it. This is how I see it. I mean, from what I can, you know, like I remember watching Melania at the his first the inauguration, and how like sheepish she was, and how like Michelle Obama just had to like, you know, like almost comfort her, and how like, you know, disingenuous Donald Trump was through the entire, you know, situation, or the inauguration, when it came to his wife and the entire ceremony. And I was like, and then I watched I watched David Chappelle on Saturday Night Live, and it was his, he did the opening, and it won him an Emmy. That's how good it was. And it was like, you know, it was just like he woke. He was like, "Yeah, man." He goes, "I live in Ohio," and he goes, "I'm driving around and all I see is Trump signs everywhere." And he goes, "I get in line at this one voting, uh, you know, one voting place, or where, you know, where you go to vote, and there are all these, you know, dusty pickup trucks and all these dusty white faces." And he's like, "Yep, Donald Trump's gonna win, man." And I woke up the next morning, and sure enough, he'd won the election. And he goes, "Well, you know, all I can do is give him a chance, you know." And from that moment on, it was like, we are in trouble. Have you heard of was it the 2025 project, or you heard about that, where the Republican Party is working on a plan to give the executive branch complete power? Yeah, man,
So a king.
yeah, basically, yeah,
Okay.
over everything. Well, let me look it up real quick. It's called the 2025. Hold on.
Yeah, I might be going out on a limb here, but you know, I'll speak for myself. I don't like that idea.
No, man, it's 2025 2025 project. Hold on. Let's see. 2025 project. Okay.
What? Yeah, the way you guys were explaining earlier that like his base won't leave him despite everything he's done. I mean, it does show these are the people who would have been supporting the king back when we were first becoming a nation. You know, they would have been with the monarchy. They're monarchists. They want a king. You know, they've made him their king, and they would love it if literally.
Oh yeah,
Absolute power. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, dude. I mean, and then not only that, but he'd go after everyone that totally. Could you imagine that?
He said that like revenge is like one of his primary driving like emotions or whatever.
That dude is such a wacko, man. Oh man.
Yep, and he's made that comment. He made that comment before, like back when he was like president and stuff like that. And then he's made that comment during Biden's administration, where he said, if the second I get in there, you guys are going to be sorry.
Well, he said something about like coming after people who are, like I think it was an intimidation tactic, and he was like, "If you're coming after me, I'm coming after you."
Which to kind of pull back and talk about the RICO stuff today, when the bail got set, we saw that they also included into the terms of the conditions of bail, including language that says not just your social media posts, but especially your social media posts, but also you can't share other people's posts that make the threats for you.
Reposting other people's.
What?
Yeah. So he can no longer get away with that, where he's like, I was just sharing some crazy news that I saw online. And like, no, dude, those are veiled threats. Well, they're not so veiled, but you know what I mean.
Well, how do you, so do you put him in jail, man? Do you really, I mean, if everything goes down and he's found guilty on some of these, well, he probably will be. Do you put him in jail?
Well, I mean, I would, but I think that, I think that he is so mentally unwell, such a narcissist, so out of control, that even if he's put on probation, he's going to end up in jail. He's going to break the terms of his probation. And if there's any teeth to that type of system at all, they have to put him in jail if he does that. You know what I mean?
Dude, you know what the situation is we've got two dudes. One's 81, the other one's 78, 79. What is going on in this country? Why can't we find someone who's 55, 65, even 70 to run the country?
We did. Obama.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did that.
They didn't like that he was like a college professor who taught constitutional law. They hated that, and they hated the fact that he was black. He was everything that they've been pissed off about liberals for. He was well-spoken, and not in the classic racist way. Like, he's a well-spoken.
No. Dude, when I go into these lives, and they're like when I go into black lives, they literally ask me, are you black? Can we see your photo? Can we see your, and I have to I'm like, dude, they're like, whoa, yeah. I mean, whether you're, and this is what I say this to everyone. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you make, what kind of car you drive, how big your house is, how much education you have. If you're a BIPOC person or African American, when you wake up in the morning and you walk out into the world, that's who you are.
Yeah.
And so some people don't like that, Some people are just like, why don't you guys leave? I'm like, what do you mean leave? We didn't ask to be here, so I'm not going anywhere, It's crazy, And now we have to deal with a dude, a guy, a jerk. I mean, so many things, who's just tried to destroy this country in the last 4 to 6 years. Yeah. Literally, try to
destroy our system of governance from its foundation in order to serve himself. Like, he didn't want to be in trouble. He doesn't want to suffer consequences. So he was willing to destroy the foundation of our democracy for his own needs.
Burn it down, man.
I'm burning it down. That's insane. It's insane. It blows my mind.
But he almost did it, bro. I mean, he came that close. All Pence has to do is not go through with the vote count for the electoral college. And it's up.
Also, like, people could have actually kidnapped and unfortunately, done worse things to Pence. And if that had happened, you might have seen violence erupt around the nation. And they were talking about using the Insurrection Act to, subvert the will of the continuation of democracy. He was just many decisions, like many different people could have made like a choice, a bad choice, a wrong choice all of a sudden, and we wouldn't be sitting here talking to each other about how we came this close. We would be talking about the hellhole we live in. That's no longer a functioning country,
Can you imagine that, man? Can you imagine? Can you imagine Trump still being president? Can you imagine that? Think about that, dude. That's a real situation. That's like as some people say, is that a thing? Is that a thing? Could be.
Yeah.
Could have been. It's just like, there are people out there who still think Trump is president, and he's pulling off. There are people out there who say this stuff, dude.
QAnon.
QAnon, yeah. It's just you. How much leeway can you give someone? How much? Okay, we get it. Okay, we know that opioids, living in rural America, steel belt, rust belt, there's no jobs, everything NAFTA, everything went overseas, blah, 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 blah. We get it, man. But you can't blow the country up, dude.
No.
You can't blow the country up. We're not going to let you do that.
Yeah. I think that's well stated. There are too many people that's their hard limit, their red line. We're not letting somebody cross that line. That's not happening.
Yeah, no, this isn't just your country, and maybe you find out the hard way. You do like 5 or 6 years in jail, or maybe like, some of the Proud Boys, some of them are going to do 30, 33, 34 years in jail.
Yeah.
Why be stupid? How do you think that you're going to, there is no way you're bigger than the government, man.
Right.
The government, the United States government, is all knowing. I mean, I'm as far left as they go. You know what I mean? I was a Marine. I've seen what we do to other countries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want to mess with the United States government, man. Yeah, you don't want those guys showing up at your door, man. That's the last thing you want, and that's what that's exactly what happened to him. He talks so much smack. Now these guys have shown up at his door, and this is where he is.
And like he has been, for him, he has been pretty quiet. I know he's done some dumb stuff and tweeted truth posted on Truth Social or whatever. He's made some really dumb decisions, but remember how actively he was like antagonizing, poking that hornet's nest back in the day?
Yeah, man.
He's not really doing that right now, and I think that's the biggest indication, the biggest proof that he's
scared. He's scared, dude. He's scared. I mean,
that's why he wants to win this election so bad, because
that
will make all of this go away.
He knows he's not going to do. You've got Gen Z is huge. Gen Z, the 18-year-olds, the kids that are 18, 19, 20, they're all voting. They're all voting.
And I think even within his own party, he doesn't have everyone's support. He has a very ardent base, but I don't think that base is really growing.
No, it's just, I mean, if I look at the number, I've looked at the numbers, and, it has Biden up by 1 or 2 points, but that's just, come on. Hillary was up by 11 points like 3 weeks before the election. You know what I mean?
Polling right now is fundamentally flawed, so we can't.
You can't really depend on that.
But okay, but here's, I think, an important thing to remember. Remember, like, legality and titles. I mean, I know he loves, that he's the president. Like, he's still, like, they're always, they keep that title forever, right? But like that's kind of meaningless to him, is like titles and stuff. He doesn't care about like structure and the law. He cares about vengeance. That's what he cares about.
And power, dude.
Power. And he doesn't need a title to use that power improperly when he loses the election. he's going to do the same thing he did last time, where he claims he won, it was rigged, it was stolen, and he's going to incite violence. That's going to happen when he loses this election.
That is his last ditch effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did? Hold on. Let me ask this question of Siri. Hold on. What did Bob Dylan say about a patriot? Oh yeah, this is what Bob Dylan said about being a patriot.
They say that patriotism is the last refuge to which a scoundrel flings steal a little and they throw you in jail.
Yeah. They say that patriotism is the last refuge to which a scoundrel clings. And Donald Trump is definitely a scoundrel.
Yeah.
Steal a little and they throw you in jail. Steal a lot and they make you a king.
Right.
I mean, come on. And he is, dude, Trump Steaks, Trump University. How many little guys that you know, all the contractors that worked for him. How many people has this guy not paid and
Right.
just ripped off, dude? This he just doesn't care about anybody, bro.
I mean, he's still doing it. He's got the worst lawyers ever because nobody will touch him anymore.
No. And these guys, dude, these guys are so afraid of him. They're so afraid of. Dude, there's no way I could work for Donald Trump. And I've had some bad bosses, dude. I was in corporate America for over 20 years, dude. I'm telling you, I've had, like, when you're sitting up on the 45th floor in some freaking huge building in Houston, Texas, and your boss is like this, not boss, but your manager, quote unquote, sales manager. How old was I then? I was like 30. I might have been like, what, 34, 35, something like that. And my sales manager was like 23, 24 years old.
Wow.
I was just like, dude, you got it. She was the worst. You know? You know what I mean? And I can't tell you, I had another guy. I had a guy when I worked at this one telecom. He'd interviewed me, and you know, I guess I'd gone through the second interview, gotten the job, and when we had one more conversation we had to have about when I was going to start, blah blah blah. And he looked at my Gmail, and he looked at the icon in the right hand side. I guess he never really looked at it. He goes, "You're black." I literally, no, this is no word of lie, bro. I can't tell you how many times this happened. Anyways, that's what, you know, if you're trying to climb the ladder, the stories that I hear about working for Donald Trump are just like mind, like he's just like when he loses his mind, like in a meeting or something, and you're on the receiving end of that. Like, can you imagine? Like in front of everyone, God and the whole world. Yeah, he's not a good man. And I mean, I hear he's like relatively, like not relatively, an extremely abrasive human being. You know?
Yeah.
But I think all of this is coming. I think he's right now, I really believe he's sitting there going, this cannot be happening to me.
I'm sure what he says in his head over and over is, "This isn't fair. This is so unfair. I'm being treated unfairly." I think that's what's constantly the little hamster on the wheel in there.
I think you're absolutely right. That's exactly what he's saying.
He's gonna go kicking and screaming, dude. I'm telling you, he's not gonna. When they say you're done, when they say you're going to jail, he's gonna go. Or maybe he just might say, yeah, just lock him up, and you know. Then he's got like his two sons, Heckle and Jekyll, or Beavis and Butthead, and then you know he's got his whole family. There's just some really incredibly pompous ass people, dude. Okay, why am I bagging on these people? Because they deserve it. Okay. what's his name? His son-in-law.
Jared,
Yeah, he's a slumlord in Baltimore.
That's not surprising.
No, it doesn't surprise anyone. And of course, it's the what gets me is like that Saudi prince gave him $2 billion, dude. $2 billion, bro. Like,
Which makes you an oligarch. He was made into an oligarch.
yeah, like, and I mean, his daughter was peddling her wares to China while she was in office.
And she got some sort of copyright or trademark stuff for voting machines too. She was going to get into the voting machine business.
Yeah, man.
Like, talk about sketchy, subverting democracy kind of vibes. I don't know about
that. Yeah, it's like the kettle. You know, what do they say about the kettle and the color black? Yeah. It's like calling the kettle black, man. It's just like, really? You're going to buy voting machines? You're going to invest in voting machines? Really, Ivanka? Really? What's that all about?
Not a good look.
Yeah, man. We love you. No, we don't. No. Anyways, no, man. That's where we are. It's where we are. I mean, this is not a road less traveled. You knew who this man was 30 years ago. You know, you knew who this man was in 1990. You know, you knew who he was.
Yep.
And to think that someday he would be president, and to think that he actually won, and the stain that he's left on this. Look, I mean, America is. There's a lot wrong with this country. Oh, we're the best, man. America. No, bro, we're not, dude. You know, might be the best for you, but dude, I mean, really? Yeah, just, you know, you go ahead and put your MAGA hat on with your red, white, and blue, you know, swimming trunks, and your little Barbie's got her little red, white, and blue bikini on, and dude, just like some of these people are, dude, because I listen, like, I don't join the lives on TikTok, but I listen to them, and it's just like, dude, really, like, you can't be like you're really like that. Like, these people are really that bad, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And they come in all shapes and colors. They're not just white people, dude. They're black people.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised at how many black Trump-loving cultists are out there. It would blow your mind, bro.
No, we live in Oklahoma. They wouldn't blow our minds.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, some of these guys are just like, and all of their entire base, their entire panel is just like a bunch of good old boys, dude. Like, yuck. Like, yeah, you know, like got them Nakonas on, you know, them serious, like, lizard skin with those. I know, man. I used to wear them. My whole family's from Texas, trust me. And I worked on a ranch when I was 9 years old. So, yeah, I mean, I worked on a horse ranch in Moses Lake, Washington when I was a kid. So I know who these people are. I know who these people are, man. Oh, Lord God, dude.
Well, the system is about to show us whether it functions at all soon. We're going to get our mugshot, our first one. It took us 4 indictments to get.
Yeah, that sheriff in Georgia, he's like, yeah, no, we're not going to. No, he's coming in. He's getting a mugshot. We're doing the whole thing.
And for anybody, I know Vic, and I discussed this earlier, but I don't think we said it on the video yet. I think it's important for people to also learn that the governor of Georgia does not have pardon power. There's like a parole board that deals with that kind of stuff. And there's state charges anyway. So, like, if he won,
he can't get parole. He can't get pardoned. He can't pardon himself.
Right. He can't pardon himself for those state charges. There is a slim chance that they could move these cases to federal court, but they don't think that that's going to be like a sure thing. It's based on a law that says if he was acting in an official capacity as a government worker or whatever, it could be moved to federal court. But not a lot of legal experts think that it's a guaranteed case that they can just say, you know, you were acting as president while you did this. That doesn't make sense.
Well, by the way, I just want to let you know. What's he gonna say? Oh yeah, he's skipping all of his
debates.
Yeah, he's skipping all of them.
Which you know, I expected that. I predicted that. I don't remember if it was on a podcast or what, but like, you know,
yeah,
the incumbent is Biden, but like the guaranteed candidate for the Republicans, and he was a previous president, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But, doesn't really need to debate. It kind of only hurts them to debate. So yeah, I think everybody can.
Well, there's that side, and then there's the other side where I think a lot of these people, you know, whoever they are, I know Chris Christie's going to go after him.
Yeah, he's already
he's already like slamming him. But we are going to see what happens.
Sure are.
You know.
Well, I think that's about a good place to kind of start wrapping this up. I really appreciate anybody.
Oh, I could talk about this for 2 days.
Oh. We'll have to go to episode 2 for that.
No. We're done. Yeah. We're going to be on this like white on rice, dude. I mean, this is so. I don't know. It's just. You know, okay, hold on. Just one more thing.
Sure.
When I started going through all the information, because there's a ton, dude, I started reading the charges, and I was just like, dude, this fool is in trouble. Dude. This dude is in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, like
pages, but that doesn't even touch the pages and pages and pages of things he did that he should have been prosecuted for. So
yes,
barely skimming the surface, but it's a lot. Yeah.
Right on. Well, peace, everyone.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for checking us out. You can always leave us comments. You can go to our socials and add yourselves. Thank you, Vic, for joining us here today.
Absolutely, thank you, guys.
Vic in the house.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys on the other side. And Rodney, I'll see you in the studio here in a second, okay?
Right on.
All right, thanks, guys. We love you.
Take care, you guys. Peace and love.